It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Hey, tired of being Mr. Nice Guy to these fuck niggas. Got nothing to discuss with them unless it's about business. I replenish when they all diminish. Started caking, I ain't near finished. Can't kill him, I been too kind. When the money pile, I need y'all to witness. Pull up on them like calisthenics with the jewels on me. Met your chick, she amused for me. Sent music to amuse. I was not enthused when they put the blues on me. Wait, fuck that time for me to bust back. Show me where the love at, ho. Niggas on the block with the gun strap. Homie finna dump that. Hit him where his mustache go. Ayy, get on my level. When it come to bank, I pimp my teller. Never been a nigga that'll rock Margiela. Never come around, I bitch, y'all better. Might not never get the rock Coachella. I don't get no fucks. I think you want better. I'm about my cheddar. Don't sprig no feather. I skate on track like Bam. My every young nigga too hot. Don't need no leather. I've been the living legend for a minute. I was at the Apache trying to sell a ticket. Nigga used to rap when Debo had the pitches. I've been learning about the boss and treated like an auction. Labels gotta bid it. I ain't never been with Stalin. I can make a call and get the money printed. Bitch, I do not play when it come to this rapping. Studied the game when I lived in the attic. All of that struggle just made me a savage. Singing my praise on my edge, been jagged. Hating that nigga ain't fit in my jacket. I give you that shit, y'all nigga be taking. Y'all bite my style straight trash. Y'all make it took 21 days, make stuff my habit. I'm gone.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this video, we're going to be getting into Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro Gramz once more. It seems that Milagro's entire legal team has officially fled the scene. They have all submitted their motion to withdraw from this case, even as they have already filed an appeal to the decision, because she really wants all of the judgment to be overturned. But now she will be proceeding pro se. Okay? And of course, pro se means you are representing yourself legally. All right? Now, recently I told y'all that Megan Thee Stallion does have some things in her favor. She has a file for injunctive relief, which would nearly double what Milagro owes her financially. She's filed a motion to get the defamation judgment overturned, which would reinstate the defamation that Milagro was found liable for, although she didn't have to pay for it based on the technicality of her being seen as media and Megan not giving her a legal warning before filing the lawsuit. So if this defamation is reinstated, then of course the amount owed would go back to nearly somewhere between 68 and 70,000. The injunctive relief would be another like 70 something thousand. So that would be nearly $150,000. Not to mention, once all of this stuff is concluded, Megan will also be able to pursue legal fees, which I believe Milagro, for the most part, and people that support her have overlooked, because they felt like this was such a victory for new media and such a victory for her, although she lost. But let's get into the actual paperwork, because Milagro has now filed to proceed pro se, and she's now trying to counter the filings that have been put in on Megan's behalf, okay? Which I don't think this is going to turn out good. You already lost with your legal team. Just imagine what's going to happen doing this solo. All right, so let's get to it, man. So now, Megan Pete versus Milagro Elizabeth Cooper. We have defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper's pro se response and reply. This is finna go terribly wrong, okay? Because what case law does she actually know to defend herself? So this is a pro se response and reply in opposition to plaintiff's motion for permanent injunction. Defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper. And again, remember, Megan also filed for that permanent injunction where she can't talk about her. It would be like a gag order moving forward. Defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, appearing pro se, respectfully submits this consolidated response and replying in opposition to plaintiff's motion for permanent injunction. Plaintiff seeks an extraordinary and unconstitutional restraint on protected speech that is unsupported by the record, contrary to the jury's findings, and inconsistent with controlling First Amendment law. 1. Introduction and procedural posture. Plaintiff's request for a permanent injunction arises after a jury trial in which the jury expressly determined that defendant qualifies as a media defendant under Florida law. Plaintiff's defamation claim was dismissed as a matter of law for failure to comply with Florida's mandatory pre-suit notice requirement. That actually is not correct. The defamation claim was not dismissed. The default judgment did not include defamation for the technicality, but the jury found that you did, in fact, defame Megan. So if I know that, I'm sure the judge does. But anyway, despite that dismissal, which never occurred, plaintiff now seeks to impose speech restrictions through alternative theories, effectively attempting to revive a defamation claim that no longer exists. The court retained limited jurisdiction solely to consider plaintiff's injunction request, which does not authorize unconstitutional restraints on protected speech or relitigation of issues already resolved by the jury. And, ma'am, you came out weeks ago stating that you were not going to talk about her any damn way. So it should be it should be a favor for both parties. It would just be a technicality to show, hey, I have no intention of speaking about her, so fuck it, go ahead. But of course, that ain't how it works, because when things get slow for you, of course you're gonna try to jump back on the bandwagon of dissing her. Because let's be clear, outside of this situation, who gave a fuck about what you had to say? 2, plaintiff cannot satisfy, and let me just be super clear here. You know what I'm saying? Not to beat a dead horse, but some people were critical of my stance on that whole Jessie Woo Cardi B thing, and basically were like, yo, you've come down harder on people than Jessie Woo did for Cardi. You should definitely understand. Well, the thing is, if someone were to come out and say, hey, J Nolan, you said this about me, I don't like what you said, fuck you, I'm not going to say, I never said that. I'm going to say, yes, I did say that. You know what I'm saying? Didn't mean to offend you in that way, but yes, I did say it. If I said something and it can be traced back, if I agreed with something that somebody put down and I verbally agreed to it, what the fuck else can I say other than, shit, I agreed? So please miss me with that shit. But anyway, plaintiff cannot satisfy the standard for a permanent injunction. A permanent injunction is an extraordinary remedy requiring proof of actual success on the merits, irreparable harm, that the balance of equities favors the movement, and that the injunction would serve the public interest. Plaintiff cannot satisfy any of these elements. You think just putting a sentence down to defend yourself is going to do the work? The judge is going to act. I can't say what the judge is going to do. I believe the judge is going to reject this anyway, because there is no legal references being made here to support your claims. Plaintiff cannot show success on the merits. The defamation claim has been dismissed. Can you prove that? And the jury expressly found that defendant functions as a media defendant. They did see that part. Plaintiff's attempt to relitigate media status by selectively citing pretrial remarks ignores the evidentiary record. Florida law applies as a matter of law once the jury made this factual determination. Intentional infliction of emotional distress cannot support injunctive relief, and no malicious intent exists. These are all Milagro's original responses, because she no longer has a legal team to guide her. She says plaintiff relies heavily on intentional infliction of emotional distress, which you are found liable for, but IIED cannot be used as an end run around a failed defamation claim. You keep saying defamation failed. The jury found you liable for defamation. You just don't have to pay for it, but the record states that you defamed her. This is crazy. Trial evidence and testimony demonstrated that there was no malicious intent on defendant's part. Huh? Regarding the alleged deepfake content. You were found liable for the deepfake. What do you mean? Defendant was live on air when the video was first brought to her attention. Her reaction reflected genuine surprise and uncertainty. She explained in real time how viewers could access content through a public platform feature. The content remained accessible for approximately 15 minutes and was removed. Defendant openly opposed AI-generated content and stated that if the video was fake, plaintiff should pursue legal action against its creator. Defendant only learned the content was fabricated after plaintiff publicly stated so. That's a lie. You doubted its authenticity from the jump. And you were recorded on your own stream, which was used in the fucking discovery files and played in court. The content was already circulating publicly and there was no intent to deceive, harm, or target plaintiff. These facts do not satisfy the elements of IIED and cannot justify a prior restraint. Plaintiff's IIED claim also fails for lack of specificity, and existing content. This is, wow, I am fucking baffled, y'all. I gotta be honest. I mean, this might be one of the most misinformed filings I've ever seen. You might go down in history with Aubrey Drake Graham for inaccurate filings in a court case. But let's continue. Hopefully this shit don't continue to get even worse, because what the fuck is this? Plaintiff's reliance on IIED is further deficient because plaintiff has failed to identify any specific post, statement, or publication that allegedly supports her IIED claim. Ma'am, you were found. What am I losing it? Didn't they find you liable for intentional infliction of emotional distress? Didn't they have fucking hundreds of social media posts, clippings, thousands of text messages, financial records of you being paid by Tory Lanez's father? Instagram messages between yourself and Tory Lanez and his father, and I believe the nigga girlfriend too, or ex-girlfriend. And you say that she has failed to identify any specific post, statement, or publication? Oh, man. You looking like Doink the Clown out there, bit, man. Anyway, at no point in her motion does plaintiff pinpoint a particular post, date, caption, video, or piece of content authored by defendant that allegedly constitutes extreme or outrageous conduct. The jury disagreed. This omission is fatal. A claim for IIED, particularly one invoked to justify injunctive relief, requires identification of the exact conduct alleged to be unlawful. Generalized references to online harassment or unspecified social media activity are legally insufficient and cannot support the extraordinary remedy of permanent injunction. This failure is especially significant here because the social media pages plaintiff broadly referenced no longer exists. Defendant's prior pages have been deleted, are inaccessible, and cannot be reviewed or evaluated by this court. Ma'am, your posts were already submitted last year. Were you not present mentally when all of your tweets, your live streams, and everything were put in the file? What you mean they can't go evaluate it by the court? The court already evaluated, which is why you're here. Like, did you get lost in November 2024? Like, have you not been present with us since then? Or did you really sit down and write this Who did you have write this? Because clearly this cannot be Milagro writing this. Because, ma'am, ma'am, what in the hell? Plaintiff does not identify any surviving content currently available to the public, nor does she explain how an injunction could be fashioned when the allegedly offending speech has not been identified, and the reference platforms are defunct. An injunction cannot issue in a factual vacuum, and the court cannot restrain speech based on speculation or hypothetical future conduct untethered to an actual identifiable publication. You were found liable in this case, ma'am. You lost. You owe money. The whole point was for you to lose so that she could get a gag order on you. Did you not see this coming? You didn't see this coming? Plaintiff's attempt to proceed without identifying a specific post underscores that the IIED theory is being used as an improper substitute for her it's not dismissed, defamation claim. Without a specific post, there is no basis for assessing intent, context, severity, or outrageousness, each of which is required to sustain an IIED claim. The absence of an identified publication also precludes any finding of irreparable harm, as plaintiff has not shown that any existing content continues to cause injury or poses an imminent threat. Boy, the new year got people fucked up. Defendant's post-trial conduct undermines any claim of irreparable harm. Or maybe folks got the new year fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it really is. Following trial, defendant voluntarily limited her public commentary. She participated in post-trial interviews solely to discuss her personal experience and reaction to the verdict. Defendant did not direct threats, harassment, or commentary toward plaintiff, nor did she encourage others to do so. Even after any gag order was lifted, defendant chose not to discuss plaintiff on her show. Plaintiff cannot establish irreparable harm where speech has been affirmatively limited and no imminent injury exists. People that support this person, this is the product of your support. Amicus briefs filed in support of plaintiff, including the recent filing by Roberta Kaplan. And again, Roberta Kaplan filed an amicus brief with a bunch of other people in case law that they feel that the defamation should be reinstated to where Milagro would be held financially liable. Okay? So that's why she's mentioning Roberta Kaplan. Improperly attempt to reframe protected commentary as harassment and advocacy as non-media conduct. These arguments ignore the jury's finding and misstate Florida law, which undermines media status by function, not viewpoint neutrality. Speculation about motive or bias cannot justify an injunction or override First Amendment protections. Prior restraint and the public interest. The injunction sought would constitute a prior restraint, which is presumptively unconstitutional, particularly where the speaker is a media defendant commenting on public proceedings. The public interest strongly favors protecting free expression and press activity. Conclusion. Plaintiff has not met the heavy burden required for a permanent injunction. The request disregards the jury's findings, attempts to revive a barred claim, and seems to restrict constitutionally protected speech. Plaintiff's motion for permanent injunction should be denied in its entirety. Okay? So that is Milagro representing herself. She is now pro se. That is her response to Megan's request for a permanent injunction, aka gag order, to where she could no longer talk about Megan, period. It is my personal opinion that the judge is likely going to say, get this shit out my face. You need to rewrite this and cite case law that backs up your claims. So we'll see what happens in the days to come, how the judge responds to this. That's what I believe will happen, because judges frequently will do this. They'll read your filing and they'll say, hey, this doesn't have enough actual legal references in it. You need to cite your sources to back you. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put together a response based on what you think. What part of law actually supports your claims? What cases? What scenarios? What similar situations can you cite to support you? And we'll see if she's able to deliver that, because she's going to be put on a deadline to have that delivered. And if she can't deliver that in enough time, she's not going to have an adequate response to oppose. See, this is the long game. And this is why you should never want to get yourself in a predicament where you have to defend yourself in this type of fashion, because you should have never did none of the shit that got you here anyway. At a certain point, you should have knew when to leave shit alone. You know what I'm saying? To keep the commentary strictly to the music, or this is my opinion. But once you started, you started off on the wrong foot, because you always felt like she was lying. You always felt like she was never shot. These are things that you had no particular evidence to support your claims. You're just going off of a hunch and wanting to hunch on a nigga. And here we are. And come to find out, the nigga don't give two fucks about you. Everybody associated with him done left you. Got to be more careful. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be safe out there. And please, 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 if you learn nothing else, stick to the script, man. Play your role. Don't overstep your role, man. Watch your words. And when them bitches get you in heat, learn to accept fault. It's very simple. I'm going to catch y'all a little bit later, though. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I could do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had